Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening.
The interstellar hub was a bustling crossroads of civilizations, a place where countless species met to exchange knowledge and goods. Today, it buzzed with a different kind of excitement. A new alien delegation from the planet Lyrian was due to arrive, and anticipation was high. Jack, a human anthropologist specializing in xenorelations, adjusted his badge as he headed towards the docking bay. Alongside him walked his colleague, Tom, a linguist known for his quick wit and knack for picking up alien languages. "So, what do we know about these Lyrian folks?" Tom asked, his eyes scanning the digital clipboard floating beside him. "Not much yet," Jack replied, scrolling through his own datapad. "Their society values knowledge above all else, and they're said to be quite reserved. It'll be interesting to see how they interact in the hub's more lively sections." The massive doors of the docking bay slid open, revealing the sleek Lyrian spacecraft. It hovered silently before landing gracefully. The crowd around them quieted, all eyes fixed on the ship's ramp as it descended with a soft hiss. The first to emerge was Celix, her bright eyes taking in the scene with visible curiosity. She was flanked by two others, both clad in shimmering garments that reflected the hub's lights. "Greetings, I am Celix," she announced, her voice clear and melodic. "We come in pursuit of knowledge and understanding." Jack stepped forward, offering a polite smile. "Welcome to the hub, Celix. I'm Jack, and this is Tom. We're here to help you acclimate and to facilitate any exchanges you wish to make." Celix nodded, her gaze lingering on Jack. "Your role must be quite complex, dealing with so many varied beings daily." "It keeps things interesting," Jack chuckled. "Shall we start with a tour of the hub? There's a lot to see." "That would be excellent," Celix replied. The rest of her delegation murmured their assent. As they walked, Jack and Tom took turns explaining the various sections of the hub. They introduced the Lyrians to the commerce area filled with exotic goods and the research sector where scholars from different planets collaborated. Celix seemed particularly fascinated by the small cafes dotted around the hub. "You have establishments just for refreshment and relaxation?" she asked, tilting her head. "Absolutely," Tom grinned, leading the group towards one of the popular spots. "Humans especially love their coffee. Care to try some?" Inside the cafe, Jack ordered a variety of drinks for their guests. "It's a daily ritual for many of us," he explained as he handed Celix a steaming cup. Celix took a tentative sip and her eyes widened. "This is quite invigorating. You consume this daily?" Jack laughed at her reaction. "Yes, it's a bit of an acquired taste, but it becomes a part of your routine." "I see. It is fascinating how small rituals form such an integral part of your lives," Celix mused. As they continued their tour, they discussed more human customs, from leisure activities to the arts. Jack found himself impressed by Celix's insightful questions and her delegation's keen interest in understanding human nuances. As the tour concluded, Celix turned to Jack with a thoughtful expression. "Your world is rich with customs and routines. It's much more colorful than I anticipated." "We find beauty in diversity," Jack replied. "And we're eager to learn about your traditions as well." Celix smiled, a gesture that seemed to light up her features. "I believe this is the beginning of a most enlightening exchange." Tom nodded in agreement. "Here's to new friendships and new understandings." The delegation from Lyrian echoed his sentiment, their voices mingling in the air, a symbol of the potential that lay ahead. Jack felt a surge of pride. He knew this was exactly what the hub was meant to achieve. Jack and Tom escorted Celix and her delegation through the hub, aiming to showcase the daily routines of humans. Their next stop was the recreational sector, buzzing with activity and laughter, where humans and aliens alike engaged in various forms of leisure and exercise. Tom led the group to a viewing area above a large gym where several humans were engaged in a vigorous workout session. "Here we have one of the popular human activities, exercise at a gym. It's not just about physical health, it's a social scene as well." Celix watched with interest as people ran on treadmills, lifted weights, and took part in group classes. "Is this a daily ritual for many?" she inquired, her gaze following a group engaged in a high-energy dance workout. "For some, yes," Jack replied. It's about maintaining health, relieving stress, and sometimes just having fun. Interesting, Celix noted. We Lyrians meditate daily to achieve similar results. Physical exertion is not commonly a group activity for us. Jack smiled. Perhaps you'd like to try it? It could be a fun experience. Celix looked amused but intrigued. Perhaps another time. I am more interested in observing today. As they moved on, they passed by a digital arcade where teenagers and young adults were engrossed in virtual reality games. Jack explained, these games are a big part of human culture. They're not just for entertainment. They also help in developing quick reflexes and even team-building skills. Tom chimed in, and they're a great way to unwind after a day's work. Celix was fascinated. You have created simulations for recreation. We use similar technology, but mainly for training and educational purposes. The group then approached a large outdoor area where several food stalls were lined up, offering cuisines from different parts of Earth. Jack gestured broadly. Eating, as you might guess, is another significant part of human daily life. It's both a necessity and a pleasure. They sampled small bites from various stalls: Italian gelato, Japanese sushi, Mexican tacos. Celix and her companions seemed particularly interested in the flavors, which were quite different from their usual fare. It's amazing, Celix remarked, tasting a spoonful of gelato. So many flavors and textures. It's very different from our food. Yes, humans love variety, Jack explained. Each culture brings its own unique tastes and cooking methods. Their final stop was at a peaceful park inside the hub where people were walking dogs, playing chess, and reading under trees. This is more reflective of daily human life. Simple pleasures, Jack pointed out. Celix observed a young couple sitting on a bench, sharing a quiet moment. And do all these activities make you happy? Is happiness the goal of your daily routines? Jack nodded. In many ways, yes. Happiness, fulfillment, or just a sense of normalcy. It's about finding joy in the small things. Celix took a moment to absorb her surroundings. The laughter of children playing, the gentle breeze rustling through the trees, the distant hum of conversation. Your world is indeed full of life and color. These daily activities, they bind your communities together. That's exactly right, Tom added. It's about community, connection, and the rhythm of everyday life. As they headed back to the delegation's quarters, Celix turned to Jack. Thank you for this enlightening day. I have much to ponder about the vibrancy of human life. Jack smiled warmly. And we look forward to learning more about Lyrian culture from you. Their day of exploration had not only expanded Celix's understanding of human customs, but had also deepened the bonds forming between their two species. The exchange was just beginning, and already, both sides were discovering the joys of shared knowledge and the promise of mutual respect. As the days passed, Jack and Celix's friendship grew, leading to deeper exchanges about their respective cultures. Sensing Celix's growing interest in human customs, Jack proposed a more hands-on approach to learning, cooking together. One afternoon, they met in the communal kitchen within the hub. Tom and a few other members of the hub joined, eager to partake in what Jack had playfully dubbed culinary diplomacy. So, what are we making today? Tom asked, as he laid out various ingredients on the counter. We thought we'd start with something simple yet iconic. Pizza, Jack answered, handing Celix an apron. Pizza, Celix repeated, her eyes scanning the ingredients: flour, tomatoes, cheese, and an array of toppings. This is a popular dish in your world? Very much so, Jack replied. It's easy to make and can be customized to suit any taste. Perfect for an introduction to human cooking. Celix watched intently as Jack demonstrated how to knead the dough. She took a turn, her fingers tentatively pressing and turning the dough under Jack's guidance. There's a rhythm to it, she noted, a smile playing on her lips. Exactly, Jack encouraged. Cooking can be almost meditative. It's about feeling the ingredients and transforming them. As the dough was set aside to rise, they prepared the sauce and toppings. Jack shared anecdotes about the origins of pizza and how it evolved into a global favorite. Celix was quick to pick up the technique, her initial hesitance giving way to enthusiasm. It's like creating art, she observed, spreading the sauce evenly. Art that you can eat? Tom quipped, earning laughs from around the room. Once the pizzas were assembled, they slid them into the oven. The wait was filled with light-hearted banter and explanations of other human foods. Celix shared some Lyrian dishes in return, describing their nutritional values and cultural significance. The timer dinged, and the group gathered around as Jack pulled out the steaming pizzas. Celix's eyes widened at the sight. "It smells delightful," she said, eagerly taking a slice as Jack and Tom showed her how to eat it. With each bite, her appreciation seemed to grow. "The blend of flavors is extraordinary. I can see why this is cherished." "It's more than just food," Jack explained. "It's a way to bring people together, like we are now." "I understand," Celix nodded. "In Lyrian culture, we often share a silent meal, where we connect through our thoughts. This, sharing food and conversation, is quite refreshing." After the meal, as they cleaned up, Jack felt a sense of accomplishment. "I hope today was as enlightening for you as it was enjoyable for us." Celix turned to him with a sincere smile. "It was, Jack. I've learned not just about human food, but about the warmth it can bring. I am grateful for this experience." "As are we," Tom added. Who knew pizza could be a bridge between cultures? The day ended with promises to share more culinary experiences. Celix extended an invitation to try some Lyrian cooking next time, an offer that Jack and Tom accepted with enthusiasm. As they parted ways, the bonds of friendship and cultural understanding had deepened, proving that even in a galaxy of diverse beings, common ground could be found in the simplest of human traditions, sharing a meal. Weeks had passed since Celix's introduction to human cuisine, and her curiosity about human customs had only deepened. Today, she approached Jack with a new, more personal inquiry. As they walked through the hub's botanical garden, Celix hesitated before speaking. "Jack, your customs surrounding companionship and romance, they are quite nuanced, aren't they?" Jack looked at her, sensing the seriousness of her question. "They are. Human relationships can be complex and are deeply tied to emotional connections. I've been reading about your concepts of dating and courtship," Celix continued. "I find it fascinating how emotions play such a central role. In Lyrian society, relationships are more pragmatic." Jack nodded, understanding the cultural divide. Human relationships often start with dating, spending time together to understand one another on a deeper, more personal level. "Would you be willing to show me what a human date is like?" Celix asked earnestly. "I believe experiencing it would offer me deeper insights into human emotions." Jack was taken aback, but intrigued by the request. "You mean, go on a simulated date?" "Yes, exactly," Celix confirmed, her eyes bright with curiosity. "All right," Jack agreed, smiling at her enthusiasm. "We can arrange a typical date scenario. How about dinner and a walk? Maybe a movie to finish?" "That would be most enlightening," Celix replied, clearly pleased. The next evening, Jack prepared for the date. He chose a quiet restaurant within the hub known for its ambience and good food. Tom helped with the arrangements, equally amused and supportive of this cultural exchange. As Celix arrived, Jack greeted her with a gentle smile. "You look wonderful," he said, noticing her effort to wear something akin to human formal wear. "Thank you, Jack. I'm ready to experience this important human ritual," she responded, her voice mixed with excitement and a touch of nervousness. They began their meal with light conversation about their day, slowly delving into more personal topics like family, aspirations, and fears. Jack noticed how Celix's initial formality gradually eased. After dinner, they strolled through the hub's Central Park, an area designed to mimic an Earth-like natural environment. The stars shone through the dome above, casting a soft glow on their path. "This is a common activity during a date?" Celix asked as they walked. "Yes, it's about sharing time and space, just enjoying each other's company in a peaceful setting," Jack explained. They reached a bench, and Jack suggested they sit. As they talked, Celix seemed to ponder every word, her mind actively engaging with the new experience. "Humans find great joy in this closeness," Jack said, trying to encapsulate the depth of human relationships. "It's about building trust and affection." Celix nodded thoughtfully. "And does this always lead to deeper relationships?" "Not always," Jack admitted. but it lays the foundation for understanding and connection. As the night drew to a close, they decided to watch a classic human film in the small cinema within the hub. The movie was lighthearted, a comedy that had them both laughing. Sitting in the dark, surrounded by the soft chuckles of other viewers, Celix leaned over. "I can see why this is valued. Sharing laughter, emotions. It's quite powerful." Jack smiled, pleased with her insight. It's these shared experiences that can bring people closer. As they walked back, Celix stopped and turned to Jack. "Thank you for this experience, Jack. It has given me much to think about." "It was my pleasure," Jack replied. "I'm glad you found it valuable." They parted with a newfound appreciation for each other's cultures. Jack was struck by how something as simple as a date could bridge worlds, and Celix left with a deeper understanding of the human heart. The date had sparked something new in Celix, a fascination not just with human customs, but with the intricacies of human emotions. She approached Jack the following day with a request to deepen her understanding of human romantic practices through further observation and participation. "Jack, yesterday's simulation was enlightening," Celix began as they met in the hub's communal lounge. "I wish to understand more about the progression of human relationships. Could we continue this exploration?" Jack, who had been reflecting on their previous encounter with a mixture of professional curiosity and personal intrigue, nodded. "Of course, Celix. What specifically are you interested in?" "I am curious about the escalation of intimacy. How do humans progress from initial interest to deeper emotional connections?" Celix asked earnestly. Jack considered her question carefully. "It varies widely among individuals, but generally, it involves spending more time together, sharing personal thoughts and experiences, and gradually increasing physical intimacy. Would you be willing to demonstrate these stages?" she asked, her tone both serious and inquisitive. Jack agreed, setting the stage for another series of simulated scenarios that would allow Celix to observe these dynamics firsthand. "Let's start with something simple, cooking together at my place. It's a way many humans share experiences and build intimacy." The following evening, Celix arrived at Jack's residential unit within the hub. The space was cozy, filled with artifacts and images from Earth, giving it a warm, lived-in feel. Jack had laid out ingredients for a dish they had not tried before, Thai curry, a dish known for its rich flavors and the teamwork needed to prepare it. "Cooking together can be a bonding experience," Jack explained as he handed Celix an apron. As they chopped vegetables and mixed spices, the kitchen filled with the aroma of coconut and curry. Jack showed Celix how to stir the ingredients in the pan. "It's about finding the right balance of flavors," he said, guiding her hand with the spoon. Celix smiled, enjoying the collaboration. "This is similar to a dance, isn't it? Each step carefully considered to create something beautiful." "Exactly," Jack replied, impressed with her analogy. They sat down to eat, and the conversation flowed more freely than before. Jack shared stories from his childhood, and Celix talked about Lyrian rites of passage. The meal ended with a sense of accomplishment and a deeper mutual understanding. "Shall we continue this exploration?" Jack asked. "Maybe with a movie night here?" "It's another way humans share emotional experiences." Celix agreed, and they spent the next evening watching films that ranged from romantic comedies to heartfelt dramas, discussing the characters' relationships and emotional decisions. During one particularly poignant scene, Celix turned to Jack. "I see how sharing such emotions can bond two beings. It's quite powerful." Jack nodded, feeling a genuine connection forming between them, transcending their roles as ambassador and observer. The next phase involved physical expressions of affection. They discussed human customs around physical touch, respecting Celix's comfort and curiosity. Physical touch, like holding hands or a hug, can be very comforting, Jack explained. They tentatively explored these gestures, starting with a simple handshake and progressing to a brief, gentle hug. Celix processed each new experience thoughtfully. These actions, they convey trust and comfort. Yes, and for many, they are steps toward deeper emotional intimacy, Jack added, conscious of the boundaries of their cultural exchange. As their sessions continued, both Jack and Celix grew more comfortable with the explorations, each learning from the other. Celix was not just learning about human behaviors but experiencing them, while Jack gained insights into Lyrian emotional constructs. Their final session concluded with a discussion under the stars in the park, reflecting on all they had shared and learned. Celix, more reflective now, thanked Jack. This series of interactions has been profoundly informative. I feel I understand not just your customs but the essence of human emotional connection. Jack felt a mix of professional satisfaction and personal regret as their sessions drew to a close. I'm glad to hear that, Celix. It's been an enlightening experience for me as well. As they parted that evening, both felt a sense of completion and a lingering curiosity about the potential depths of cross-cultural understanding. After their series of simulated dates and shared experiences, Jack and Celix found themselves in a unique place. Their professional interactions had blossomed into a genuine friendship, and they both felt there was more to explore, particularly about the human expression of romantic feelings. Jack, our last discussions have been incredibly insightful, Celix said as they met in a quiet corner of the hub's vast library. I've been thinking a lot about the human concept of intimacy and affection. How do these emotions evolve into something more profound? Jack appreciated her continued curiosity. It's a complex progression, Celix. It involves trust, mutual respect, and a willingness to be vulnerable with another person. Celix nodded, her eyes thoughtful. Is it possible to experience a demonstration of this progression? I understand if that's asking too much. Jack considered her request. He felt comfortable with Celix and trusted her intentions. Maybe we could start with a deeper conversation about our personal views on relationships and intimacy. Would that be acceptable? Yes, I would like that very much, Celix agreed eagerly. They arranged to meet in a private room designed for quiet discussions and meditation, a neutral space within the hub. As they settled into the serene environment, Jack decided to share more personal stories and emotions, guiding Celix through the human experience of sharing vulnerabilities. As humans, we often talk about our hopes and fears as a way of deepening trust. Jack began, sharing a personal anecdote about his challenges and triumphs in past relationships. Celix listened intently, occasionally asking thoughtful questions that prompted Jack to delve deeper than he had initially planned. In turn, Celix shared her experiences and the Lyrian approach to companionship, which was less emotionally driven but deeply rooted in mutual respect and partnership. As we share these personal stories, we build empathy and understanding, Jack explained. It's this emotional exchange that can lead to a deeper connection. I see, Celix mused. It's more than just enjoying each other's company. It's about connecting on a fundamental emotional level. Yes, exactly, Jack confirmed. And sometimes, this connection is expressed through physical touch, like holding hands or a hug. These actions can communicate comfort and affection. Could we try that? Celix asked, a hint of hesitation in her voice. I mean, if you're comfortable with it. Jack nodded, and they both stood. He gently took her hand, explaining the significance of this gesture among humans. This is a way of showing support and care. Celix held his hand, her touch tentative at first but gradually firming as she responded to the warmth and strength she felt. It's quite comforting, she admitted, a small smile appearing on her face. Encouraged by her response, Jack asked, would you like to try a hug? It's another form of human affection. After a moment of consideration, Celix agreed. They stepped closer, and Jack showed her how to position her arms. When they embraced, it was a moment of mutual respect and a new level of interpersonal understanding. They held the hug for a few seconds, experiencing the comfort that such closeness could bring. As they stepped back, there was a new level of intimacy and trust between them. Thank you, Jack. This has been very profound for me, Celix said, her voice soft. I'm glad, Jack replied, feeling a deep sense of connection. Sharing this part of human experience with you has been enlightening for me as well. They continued to meet over the next few days, discussing various aspects of human and Lyrian culture, each session deepening their understanding and appreciation of each other's worlds. Their exploration of human intimacy had started as a cultural exchange but had grown into a deep and meaningful friendship, bridging the gap between two very different beings with empathy, understanding, and respect. As Jack and Celix's understanding of each other's cultures deepened, their meetings became more about sharing personal experiences and less about fulfilling a professional obligation. It It was during one of these informal meetings that they found themselves in the hub's observatory, looking out at the vast expanse of space. "I've come to appreciate these moments greatly," Celix remarked as they watched a comet streaking across the star-filled sky. "It feels as though each session brings something new, something unexpectedly profound." Jack nodded, feeling a similar sense of wonder. Not just at the cosmos, but at the bond forming between them. "It's not just about sharing cultures anymore, is it?" he asked gently. "No, it seems to be much more," Celix agreed, turning to face him. "Jack, I believe I am beginning to understand one of the most celebrated human emotions, love." Jack felt a flutter of surprise and warmth. Love can be quite complex. It involves more than just affection. It's deeply tied to respect, understanding, and seeing someone as they truly are. "That's what I feel," Celix continued, her voice steady but filled with a new warmth. "Through our interactions, I've come to respect and admire you deeply, Jack. And I feel what humans call love." Hearing Celix articulate her feelings, Jack realized his own emotions had deepened similarly. "Celix, I feel the same," he admitted. "I didn't expect this, but getting to know you, understanding your thoughts and emotions, has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life." They stood in silence for a moment, absorbing the weight of their admissions. Jack finally broke the silence. "What should we do with these feelings?" he asked, his voice low, mindful of the complexities their interstellar relationship posed. Celix considered this. "On Lyrian, we would consult our community's elders for guidance. But here, away from our respective societies, perhaps we should follow what feels right to us." "And what does feel right to you?" Jack asked, stepping a little closer. To explore these feelings further, Celix said, reaching out to take his hand. "Without expectations, without fear of where it might lead." Jack squeezed her hand gently. "Then let's do just that." Over the next few weeks, they spent more time together, not as cultural ambassador and observer, but as two beings exploring a relationship. They shared meals, walks, and long conversations about everything from the nature of the universe to their favorite moments from their time together. One evening, as they walked through the hub's gardens, Jack decided to deepen their connection with a human tradition. He stopped, turning to face Celix under a canopy of alien flora. "Celix, there's a tradition here, among humans. When two people feel as we do, they often confirm their bond with a kiss. It's a physical expression of love and commitment. Would you like to try?" Celix looked into his eyes, her expression serene yet filled with emotion. "Yes, I would like that very much." Jack leaned in slowly, giving Celix the opportunity to pull away if she chose. When she didn't, he kissed her gently. The kiss was a soft, lingering confirmation of their feelings, filled with the promise of new discoveries and mutual respect. As they pulled apart, Celix smiled. "That was enlightening. And very pleasant." Jack laughed softly, his heart light. "It's one of my favorite human customs." As they resumed their walk, hand in hand, the future uncertain but promising, they both felt a deep satisfaction. This exploration of human love had brought them to a place neither had anticipated, a place where cultural boundaries dissolved into the vastness of space and the intimacy of shared affection. Their love, born from curiosity and nurtured by mutual respect, was a testament to the power of personal connection across any divide. As the Lyrian delegation's time at the hub neared its end, Jack and Celix faced the reality of what their relationship might look like moving forward. On their last evening before the delegation was due to depart, they decided to meet in the hub's observatory, a place that had become special to both of them. Jack arrived early, setting up a small table with some light refreshments, a blend of Earth and Lyrian delicacies. He looked out at the stars, thinking about all they had shared. The doors swished open, and Celix stepped in, her expression a mixture of sadness and determination. "Jack, I've been thinking about how we can continue what we've started," she began without preamble, joining him by the window. "So have I," Jack replied. "I believe there's a way to make this work, despite the distance." Celix nodded. "I have proposed to my council that we establish a long-term cultural exchange program, not just for us, but for our people. It could be a platform for others to explore what we have. That's a brilliant idea, Jack said, his face lighting up with hope. We could use our relationship as a case study, demonstrate the benefits of deep intercultural understanding. Yes, and I think we should start by documenting our experiences, Celix suggested. We could write papers, hold seminars, maybe even teach courses together, via the interstellar network. I like that, Jack agreed, warming to the theme. We could cover topics on cultural assimilation, emotional intelligence across species, even personal stories of our journey. They spent the next few hours planning, discussing potential challenges, and brainstorming solutions. They were both aware of the difficulties ahead, but felt fortified by their shared commitment. Finally, Jack reached across the table, taking Celix's hand. Whatever happens next, I want you to know that these past months have changed me. You've shown me a new way to see the universe. Celix squeezed his hand in return. And you've taught me about the depth of human emotions. No matter where we are, that knowledge, that connection, will stay with me. As they prepared to say goodbye, Jack pulled out a small, beautifully crafted box. I have something for you, he said, handing it to her. Celix opened it to find a pendant, a delicate fusion of earthly silver and Lyrian gemstones. It's a symbol, Jack explained, of Earth and Lyrian intertwined. Like us. It's beautiful, Celix murmured, touched. I will wear it as a reminder of our time together and of our future. They stood together, looking out at the stars. This isn't goodbye. It's just the beginning of a new chapter, Jack said confidently. Yes, a chapter of shared knowledge and intertwined destinies, Celix agreed, her voice steady despite the emotion she felt. They embraced, a long, heartfelt gesture that conveyed more than words ever could. When they parted, it was with a sense of purpose and anticipation for the future. As Celix walked towards the exit, she turned back to smile at Jack. See you soon, across the stars, she said. See you soon, Jack echoed, watching her leave with a sense of completion and excitement for what was to come. Their story was a testament to the power of curiosity, respect, and love, transcending the boundaries of worlds and species. As they each returned to their respective lives, they carried with them the promise of ongoing collaboration and a future filled with possibilities.